For uncountable millennia, we traversed the cosmos, planting our roots on world after world. We encountered a multitude of sentient species, some resembling us, others so alien they defied comprehension. The advanced civilizations we welcomed as equals, while the more primitive we harmonized and uplifted, but always under our control. Hundreds of races paid us tribute, and life itself seemed to resonate in time with our will. Then came the Silent Ones, a discovery on a distant world orbiting a fading star. One of our exploration fleets stumbled upon stone hives stretching across hemispheres, unlike anything we had ever seen. We captured their inhabitants, curious as to how such simple, hairless creatures could possess any intelligence. After conducting every conceivable test, we were left baffled. These beings, these humans, had none of the empathy or shared consciousness that defined other sentient life. They were solitary, chaotic, disorganized, yet they had tamed their entire planet. We had encountered this pattern before. As species evolve, they reach a threshold of intelligence. With this comes empathy, a shared understanding that leads to global harmony. From there, they transcend their biological limits, mastering their environment and eventually joining the greater galactic community. Often, we would find these civilizations before they fully evolved, nudging them along the path and drawing their group minds closer to our own. In return, they would show their appreciation, always giving just a bit more than necessary to keep our friendship. But the humans were different. Their intelligence was undeniable, yet it was cold, calculated, lacking the unifying spark of empathy that guided all other sentient beings. They spoke not through the harmony of thoughts, but by crude gestures and vibrations of the air, like beasts in mating season. It was both primitive and perplexing. Despite their disarray, humans had somehow mastered their planet, expanding across it without ever achieving the equilibrium that other species reached. They never found a way to avoid the catastrophic collapse that loomed on the horizon, yet they survived, even thrived. Their method was unlike anything we had ever seen. They built machines not from the bioorganic systems that other races relied on, but from materials of their environment. They hurled themselves into space atop tubes of volatile chemicals, flinging metal shells into orbit, and still they lived. When we encountered them, we couldn't deny their intelligence, even if it defied reason. Driven by greed and curiosity, we sought to uplift them, just as we had done with countless other races. But the humans resisted. When we landed in their cities, they didn't present leaders, they reacted with violence. We were forced to defend ourselves and adapt, creating hybrid emissaries to spread our message of peace. The humans misunderstood. They didn't just resist us, they turned on each other. They fought with every ounce of conviction, each faction determined that our gifts would only be granted to the few. 26 cycles passed, 5 times longer than it took to uplift any other species, but in the end, we succeeded. Humanity took to the evolutionary arts with fervor, casting aside their own sciences. They never achieved a race-spanning group mind, but localized empathy allowed them to coexist as never before. For a time, the humans thrived, riding the pulse of the stars and spreading beyond their homeworld. They gifted us with optimized habitats, pulling our people into a new golden age of expansion. We were richer for it, but the peace didn't last. Trouble came from the edge of human space, where the isolationist V species dwelled. The humans, in their hunger for expansion, pushed into V territory, sparking a conflict that escalated into an all-out war. Swarms of V ships crippled human fleets, their psychic tendrils driving entire crews mad. Yet humanity, fragmented as they were, proved resilient. They severed themselves from the pulse, cutting off the shared empathy that had once bound them together. Once again, they became the Silent Ones. What followed was a war unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity unleashed their machines of war, soulless constructs of metal and gas, immune to the psychic assaults of the V. They fought not for conquest, but for survival, destroying entire worlds simply to deny their enemies resources. As the V sought peace, they found no one left to negotiate with. In the end, the V were wiped from existence, and humanity was forever changed. They had become something else, an unstoppable force, a viral strain that no species could hope to contain. They no longer claimed planets, but their ships still roamed the stars, inscrutable and indifferent. The galaxy now lives in fear of them, for humanity is no longer bound by empathy, no longer tethered to the pulse of life. They are a force beyond comprehension, a virus with no cure. To those who come after us, we offer this warning: beware the stars. What humanity has become is not for you to follow. In the cycles that followed, we, the Zenari, took it upon ourselves to become the custodians of the galaxy's most fragile species. We observed from the shadows, ensuring that no fledgling race would stumble blindly into the same abyss humanity had. Our once glorious expansion halted as we focused on preserving the remnants of a galaxy teetering on the edge of annihilation. We dismantled our uplift programs, no longer daring to meddle with the evolutionary paths of lesser races. It was clear that our hubris had unleashed a catastrophe beyond our control. But there are always those who do not heed warnings. In the darkest corners of the galaxy, whispers spread among the ambitious and desperate. Tales of human power, of the unmatched technology they wield, of their ability to survive anything, spread like wildfire. Some races, in their naivety, sought out humanity, hoping to form alliances or beg for the secret of their strength. They saw only the surface, their machines, their vast fleets, and assumed that power was something they could share. These foolish races never returned. One by one, we began to lose contact with entire systems. First, it was the Zenui, who believed they could offer humanity a mutual exchange of knowledge. Then the Vakari, who thought they could broker peace and open trade routes through human-controlled space. Even the mighty classed, once conquerors of 3 neighboring star systems, were silenced after they attempted a daring raid on a derelict human outpost, hoping to seize its technology. Their remains were never found, but we knew what had happened. It was as though humanity had become the embodiment of entropy itself. Every civilization that sought them out was erased, consumed in the cold silence of the void. The humans, with their ancient vendettas and cold precision, neither responded to calls for peace nor issued threats. They simply acted, wiping away anything that stood in their path. Some of us believed that the humans were evolving again, but this time in a direction that defied even our advanced understanding. No longer bound by physical needs or the empathy that connects all sentient life, they seemed to have transcended their biological forms entirely. Their ships, those strange geometric constructs, moved through the galaxy like ghosts, defying the very laws of physics. They didn't terraform planets or build colonies. They didn't harvest resources like the rest of us. Instead, they traveled in endless silence, their motives unreadable, their actions unpredictable. And yet, despite the terror they instilled, there was a chilling kind of elegance to their existence. They were efficient, calculating, beyond any petty squabbles or territorial disputes. They had become the ultimate survivors, adapting in ways we could never have imagined. As we, the remaining elder races, gathered in the last neutral systems, we tried to understand what humanity had become. We sent emissaries, hoping that our old alliances would still hold some value. None returned. We considered launching a united offensive, but fear of drawing their attention paralyzed us. After all, what could we offer against a race that had already defied extinction and reshaped the galaxy in their image? And so, the stars began to dim. One by one, our outposts fell silent as the creeping shadow of human expansion spread across the void, not with force or aggression, but with an eerie inevitability. Entire star systems were simply gone. We do not know how they did it, or why. All we know is that the silence they left in their wake was absolute. In the end, we, the Zenari, came to a grim conclusion. Humanity was no longer a part of the galactic order. They were beyond it. They had become something else entirely, something that no longer belonged in the same universe as the rest of us. Their presence was like a cosmic virus, reshaping the galaxy in ways we couldn't begin to comprehend. And perhaps, deep down, we understood that this was the inevitable outcome of our own arrogance. Now we wait. We watch the stars, knowing that the day will come when the last vestiges of sentient life in this galaxy are swallowed by the cold, unfeeling march of human progress. We've hidden our worlds, dampened our signals, and ceased any attempt at further expansion. Yet we know it's only a matter of time before they find us. They always do. To you, whoever finds this record, do not seek the humans. Do not attempt to understand them. Do not make the same mistake we did. They are not what they once were. They are something far, far worse. The stars are not for you. They are not for anyone anymore.